you keep raising your voice until it's heard. I'm sure they miss the tomatoes.
Yeah, for sure.
And the pizza and their grandma's banitsa. And what would you do if you knew you could not fail?
Yeah, that's great.
He was a very successful businessman. He closed everything up, and he moved to Nepal, and he opened a center for people to come and have retreats and find themselves. He did that at
50. Здравейте на всички, които гледат нашия подкаст. Радвам се, че се виждаме отново. Аз съм Владимир Атанасов и съм хост за първи път в Амалипе. Днес нашия специален гост е Андриа Брулет-Родригез, която е заместник-посланик на САЩ в България. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here. I love hanging out with you guys.
Before we talk about your work as a deputy ambassador and engagements in Bulgaria, we'd like to learn something more about you and your professional journey.
Sure. Well, I'm from Minnesota. It's in the northern part of the United States. And I grew up speaking Spanish because I had a nanny who took care of me who didn't speak any English. So I was always interested in other languages and other cultures. And so I got my undergraduate degree in political science and Spanish. And then I joined the State Department. Once I joined the State Department, I spent several tours in Spanish-speaking countries, but I wanted to see the world. So I broadened my experience, and I studied Russian, and I lived in Russia, and then in Turkmenistan, and now I'm here in Bulgaria. But making the transition from Russian to Bulgarian, it was in some ways kind of hard, but it was easier because I knew a Slavic language, but it was kind of hard too.
Yeah, I understand. Would you please tell us something specific about your career? Was it hard or something like that?
Oh, of course. Every new job that you come to is terrifying because you feel like I'm in a new country, working in a new language, with a new culture. Maybe I don't understand how things work in a country. And you have to learn a new history and facts, but it's a challenge, and it's an exciting challenge.
That's very impressive. How did you manage to learn the languages and etc.?
Well, we have a school called the National Foreign Affairs Training Center, where we teach something like 75 languages. And I went to class all day, every day, to learn these languages.
That's very nice, very impressive. Since 2021, you have been in Bulgaria and probably had the chance to visit many places and had acquainted with our culture. What do you like the most, and what would you say about Bulgaria?
Oh, I love Bulgaria. I live at the foot of the mountain, so every morning I walk, and on the weekends I do hikes up in even more into the mountain. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, and I really, really love to start my day that way. But some of the things that I've loved most about Bulgaria, number one, the friendly people.
Yeah,
it really is. The tomatoes, they're really
definitely
the best in the world. And some of the archaeological sites that I've visited have just taken my breath away.
Can you give some examples for that?
Oh, absolutely. I think the thing that was the most beautiful to me was the Thracian tomb of Sfeștari.
Yeah?
It's absolutely gorgeous. To see each of the women depicted holding up the room, each one has different hair, different clothes, different the way their faces are all different. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I also really fell in love with the basilica in Plovdiv. The mosaics there are the most beautiful I've ever seen in the whole world, ever. And I've been to 96 countries, and they were the most beautiful, no question.
I can agree with that. Okay, so the U.S. Embassy has always supported the initiatives of Center Amalipe, and for which we are very grateful. And for the past few years, the project Intercultural Academy for Civic Engagements and Tolerance has been action with the support of the U.S. State Department of the U.S. Embassy in Bulgaria. You have participated in several of them.
Yeah.
One is the student competition, My Opinion Do Matters.
I remember.
And I remember it also. So you was very happy there.
Yeah.
I can say that.
It was great.
Would you tell something more about Amalipe Center and your relationship with Amalipe?
Absolutely. I've been going to events now for several years, and I've watched quite a few of the participants go from being not only very young and very small, they're now very tall and very grown up, but they've gone from being shy to you can see when I'll make a statement or pose a question, you can see that they're thinking about it, and they always come back with very, very thoughtful, mature, interesting questions.
Yeah.
Because young people see things in a different way. And I've loved watching as they've developed.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I was also there and saw young people having really important opinions.
Yes.
And expressing them to very important people.
Yeah, they were the first time nobody said anything.
Yeah.
Really, like we had to be like, come on, say something. And this last time, everyone was like, wait, me.
Yeah.
So
it was very.
Yes, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
The participation of young people from vulnerable groups as peer trainers, empowering them to huge roles for them. We see every day they become more civically active and start to learn more about their rights. What do you think about the rights for the young people in Bulgaria?
I think it's very important that young people, I love these camps because the peer teachers are teaching the younger people that their opinion matters. And so it's absolutely vital that young people raise their hand and tell leaders what they want, what they need, what they need in their schools, what they need in their neighborhoods. If their roads need to be paved, somebody has to tell the government. If you don't say anything, nothing will ever get changed.
Okay. Do you believe that if they raise the young people, if they raise their voices, it will be heard?
You keep raising your voice until it's heard.
Yeah.
Is all I can say.
Okay. Nice point. So what you have so far, what are the challenges you are facing right now, or from the people from the small towns, with the people from the small towns?
Sure. I know when you live in a smaller town, sometimes you have less resources because the national government distributes usually based on population. So sometimes small towns have less resources. But being in a small town can also be an advantage because if you are, my dad, he used to always say, I want to be a big fish in a small pond because everybody knows me and I can make a difference. And people know me and respect me and I can make a difference.
Yes.
So I would urge people who live in small towns to raise their voice because people know you and they trust you. And I know there are less resources, but that's why the U.S. Embassy has tried really hard to do programs across the country and not just in Sofia. And we have American Corners across the country in many of those smaller cities, which might not be a small town, but it might be closer to your small town. So I would encourage young people to go on our website and look at what's being offered at some of our American Corners. We have great programs.
Okay.
So, and might not be such a long drive.
Okay. We'll put the website like here.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that, that living in a small city is better for some
For
reasons.
some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now I live in Varna and study there,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel so stressed from time to time, and I just want to go back
To
in
your
my small
village.
city. Yeah, just to relax and you're right that people there trust you and know you.
Mm-hmm.
You can grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that
And they
because
support you.
yeah, they support you.
Yeah.
That's why you can grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes.
And it's important. I know a lot of people talk about that young people study, get their degrees, and then they leave Bulgaria. I think it's really important for those young people to come back and take what they've learned and give back to their country. And that's what can continue to make Bulgaria strong.
Yeah, I believe also that. But when the system is pushing you go away, it's really hard to stay here. Like some of us decided to stay here in Bulgaria and study and build some career.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to participate in some. And most of the people decide just to go to some other country, live their lives there, work some other people's.
Well, I hope some of them come back.
That they'll come back.
You have really smart young people, tech savvy, really enthusiastic, and I'd love to see those young people come back.
Yeah, I have really friends who are very smart, very smart people, and they just decide to go and be labor for some other countries, which I don't like really. I have decided to stay here in Bulgaria, which is very hard. I tell you, it's hard. It's not easy, but I believe that if you come back, and if we are like a group, like a team, yeah, if like team, we can build Bulgaria and make it stronger, make it bigger, and yeah.
Well, those people who are living in other countries, I'm sure they miss the tomatoes.
Yeah,
and
for
the
sure.
lutnitsa and their grandma's banitsa, and
Yeah,
so hopefully they'll come back. There are some really wonderful things here too.
Oh yeah, I believe so. Do you can you speak some Bulgarian or something like that? Do you know some Bulgarian words?
Може да говоря, но може да разбирам
Да.
повече от говоря, но.
Да, I understand. Разбирам. Andrea, what do you think about the Roma community and the young Roma people?
I have met some of the friendliest, kindest, most welcoming people in the Roma community. There are so many untapped resources. And so some of these programs that Amalipe and Arete have created are wonderful. And I'm very happy to see how these young people have developed into leaders in their own communities.
Yeah, I was very skeptical about some organizations like Amalipe Arete. I was really blind for it. And when I started participating in Amalipe and some Arete and organizations like that, I have changed totally my mind. They are doing work. They are great. Of course, with the support of the U.S. Embassy and other supporters. I'm really glad to participate.
I think at the embassy, we're very happy to support those programs. But we support a lot of youth programs. And for us, it's about young people. We have programs that, especially the group, the peer leaders, that's not just Roma kids. There are lots of kids from the community who participate there. And Roma kids can participate in any of the programs that we have. We partner with a foundation called the BEST Foundation, and they do speech and debate in English. They help with English, and then they help with speech and debate. We have some programs, spelling bees for kids from little kids up to older kids. We have programs on creative writing. These are all programs that help young people learn how to communicate, orally and written. And in order to be successful in life, I think you need to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
So you can go on and work in business or in computers, but if you can't talk to people and you can't write what you're trying to accomplish, then you're not going to be as successful. So that's why at the U.S. Embassy, that's why we support programs. And all children, young people are welcome at them.
Yeah, understand. My next question will be, if you have something to say about the young people, like if they're missing some points, are they?
No, I think before I came and I was studying Bulgarian, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to always speak in Bulgarian. But when I arrived, I found that all the young people are really working on their language skills, and most young people speak really great English. And I think that it's important. It doesn't have to be English, but young people here should look at other languages because it opens doors. It helps you get a better job. It helps you learn about other peoples and cultures. So I think they're doing it right. They're looking at what the world has to offer, but also combining it with things like studying tech, studying business. I think Bulgarian expertise in the tech sector is world-renowned.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies want to come here because of that. So I would say to continue along in whatever. If you're not good at tech, you don't have to study tech. If you don't want to be a coder, don't study that. If you want to be a dancer, be a dancer. What a lot of our programs teach is that you should look for your dreams and work towards them. Figure out what your goals are. I have a magnet on my refrigerator that says, what would you do if you knew you could not fail?
Yeah, that's great.
What would you do? And every day I look at that and I think, wow, I would do this. And then once you start to dream that way, then you set out your challenge and then decide what the steps are going to be for you to reach that goal. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to fail and you're going to fall flat on your face, but you got to get up and either try again, or if you decide maybe that wasn't the right fit for you, try something else. My daughter just graduated from college and she's trying to figure out, do I get a master's degree or do I do this? And I said, it's okay. Try something, and if it doesn't work, try something else. I have a friend who was 50 years old, and he was a very successful businessman. He closed everything up, and he moved to Nepal, and he opened a center for people to come and have retreats and find themselves. He did that at 50.
Yeah.
If you are young, you can do anything. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah, understand. So you support the idea that dreams come true?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
I'm not saying it's easy, but they can come true. Yeah.
Young people, wake up. I'm moving to a different question.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you were moving in a lot of countries, and
yeah.
I will ask you, which one was the most beautiful to you?
So, for me, each country has something that's positive and sometimes things that are negative.
Mm-hmm.
For example, in Bangladesh, the traffic was horrible. Like, it literally would take 2 hours to get anywhere. But the people were so wonderful, and the food was spicy and delicious, and we had such good partnerships with the government. We were able to do so many things. So I try to see the good and the bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really have a favorite. I have favorite things in each country.
Would you say something about that?
Sure. So like in Cuba, I loved the music. You could just be walking down the street and people will just pick up a table and start to make some sounds, and then somebody else will start to sing, and all the restaurants and bars have just extremely talented musicians. So it was just a very joyful society. Each country has things that I've loved. I lived in Italy, and the food was the most amazing food I've ever had in my life. So delicious. In Honduras, we had archaeological ruins from the Mayas that were just spectacular, and we visited several of their islands in the Gulf of Mexico, tropical island paradise, where you can drink a pina colada and sit on the beach with your feet in the sand.
Yeah,
Every single place I've lived has memories like that.
I understand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will ask you some specific questions about the young women.
Mm-hmm.
How can you give them some motivation and to fight for their rights and for their dreams?
It's very important to. I think it's helpful if you can find a mentor or a role model. If there's a woman in your school or your community or your family who you look up to, talk to them. They will support you. But you know what? It doesn't even have to be a woman. I had many mentors who were men, but you have to believe in yourself. You really do. And if you believe in yourself and you set your goals and you work towards them, I am confident that you will find people who will support you along the way.
And would you say something to the people that are in a toxic environment?
Sure. I mean, everybody has problems. Everybody. Even very rich people have problems. And sometimes you have to rely on yourself and rely on people you trust to help you either get out of a bad situation or to improve your situation. It's okay to ask people for help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you believe that people should ask for help, like in their families, in their community there? So, okay.
Their schools.
Their schools.
If they work in their workplace, you can always find allies and people who will help you.
Okay,
but you have to speak up.
Yeah, so speak up.
Speak up.
So, Andrea, thank you so much for being in our podcast. And for the last question is, do you have something more to tell for our listeners and watchers on YouTube?
First of all, thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome that I've received here in Bulgaria everywhere I go. I would say believe in yourselves. Keep working. Dream big. Set goals and work towards them and ask for help. I think those were all our themes, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, I believe in the young people of Bulgaria, and I look forward to coming back in a few years and meeting up with my friends again to check in on you and see how you're doing.
Yeah, we'll be pleasure. Така, благодаря на всички, които гледахте нашия подкаст. Радвам се, че сте част от нашата общност. Ще се радвам, ако се абонирате за нашия канал. И до нови срещи!